Oh, why not use Awlgrip? It's the customer that's paying. Out of the cheapest guns, that's the best one. Yes, you can use a cheaper gun like from Harbor Freight. Those guns are one-time use. It's a one-stage paint. Doing it in maybe 2 or 3 foot increments. Paints like Awlgrip come out very, very smooth. This came out really nice, man. It'll come out just like this, and it looks like glass. What's up, guys? I got a special video for you today. I'm at ABS, Alamar Boat Solutions. This is a place that I'm sure you've seen on Alfred's channel, Luxury Rib Tenders, where they build the tubes for the rib boats. You can find more info on that at luxuryribtenders.com. I got a special video for you guys today because they're going to be painting this boat. They don't specialize in painting here, but they have people they work with, and I'm with Franky. He specializes in anything that's fiberglass, and he's a professional at this. This is what he does. And he's going to be painting this boat, and he's going to show us how he actually does it. You can see him over there. He's preparing the floor. He's wetting out the floor. I know that's for the dust, so none of the dust gets picked up into the paint. So we're going to follow him around. He's going to show us how he does it and pick up some tips, and you guys get to see the tips as well. Let's get going. All right, guys, as you guys know, I've painted my Grady White before with a one-stage paint, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Franky's going to be shooting a one-stage urethane paint. So let's go see what he's doing. Franky, guys, this is Franky. He's a pro. He works on fiberglass and he paints boats and things like that. Franky, what paint are we using? What's the name of this paint and what type of paint is it? This Olac.
Yeah, but that is this Olac is
the brand.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's
the label is right here.
Okay, it's a one-stage paint. It's not an epoxy paint. It's a urethane.
4x1.
What's the difference? Is that cheaper than, like, let's say, Awlgrip?
Yeah, Awlgrip. Because this like 300, 400 bucks.
Okay.
This one, 200.
But you still need the converter and the reducer for the Awlgrip, yeah. Right? So it's a little bit even more money.
Yeah.
So this is a cheaper option.
Yeah.
How long does this last compared to Awlgrip or those other paints?
If you go with the boat, you polish, you do wash.
5 years, 6 years.
Sí.
Okay, that's not bad.
Sí.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, once you maintain it, you're gonna be fine. So he's gonna go and actually do the 4-to-1 mixture. So these mixing cups, they already come with the ratios in here. See that? Let's go ahead and do that, Franky, so we can show them how that works. Since he's gonna come over here and fill. You'll see it fill over here. He's gonna put 4, come up to 4. Nice. I'm gonna go ahead and shake that up. Now Franky's already prepped this boat. What he's doing on this boat is he's actually just doing like a touch-up. So they've already primed this boat and it's been painted before, but they didn't like how it came out. So they went ahead and sanded the entire boat and they're just gonna respray it. Okay, so that's why you see it this color. And you'll see some primer sticking out in some spots, but it's been prepped just to go ahead and give it another coat of paint. So one of the things that Franky did to prepare is he wet the floor, and that helps with any of the dust that gets picked up from the air gun, okay? And obviously he taped the whole boat with this paper so he doesn't get overspray on anything. So let's go check out what he does now. So I see he's got his gun prepared, and it's actually the same gun that I have. It's a HVLP gun, and he's got a filter here, okay? And this filter is gonna filter out any of the impurities that are inside the paint, any chunks or anything that's hardened in there, as I'm sure you guys saw when he poured it out in the mixing cup. See those big chunks? They get stuck in there, so they don't get stuck in the gun, and you got a nice clean pour. So you got about what, 14 ounces? 14 ounces of paint. What color is this, Franky? Do you know the name, or is it just a custom color?
Yeah,
it's a custom color.
Yeah.
Okay. What tip are we using? What size tip? 1.4. So 1.4 tip. Yeah, 1.4 tip. Franky, does that depend on the paint? The paint tells you what size tip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're using Yelko.
Yeah, you need a bigger tip.
Yeah.
Okay. And what pressure do you use when you're shooting?
I mean, I don't have any wash right now to see the pressure. I just tried. I see the
You see how it comes out?
the
Okay.
noise.
Okay.
That I got.
So when you're a pro and you've been doing this for long enough, I've heard that a lot of these guys, they use their ear to know how much pressure is coming out of the gun, and then the feel of it as they spray it and test it. Yeah. All right, so let's go see. Yeah, so he's adjusting the flow, the pressure. All right, let's go take a look. So Franky's getting ready. He's got his mask going on. He's getting his PPE on. We got really lucky on this because we kind of stumbled on this. We were doing something else here, and they happened to just be painting this. And Franky was nice enough to let us record him painting this boat, and he's giving us some tips. He's giving me tips because I'm always learning. So, all right, let's go see what he's got. Franky, do you start always in the front, or do you start in the back sometimes?
Because I have.
Okay.
I'm a right.
Okay, you're right-handed.
To the side, to see what I'm doing.
Got it. So because he's right-handed, he's going to start this way instead of crossing his body and going this way. So that's his preference. Yeah, Franky's got a steady hand over there. I don't want to get too close because I don't have a mask on. So now I've noticed that a lot of guys that have been painting for a long time, when they spray, especially big surfaces like this, they don't let off the gun, and they just keep on moving their hand, and they stay right around the same distance, and they just don't let off the gun. And that allows for a much more even a coat. Because sometimes when you let off that gun, you'll get globs of paint that'll come off, and it'll come onto your substrate. But as you can tell, he's keeping that wet edge. So he's doing maybe like a, I don't know, 70% coverage of the previous layer, and he's going right over it. You see? You can see where it lightens up. And he's just flaring it out to kind of blend it in, to give it a nice smooth finish. From what I understand, Franky was testing the gun. He's adjusting the flow of the gun, or the pressure rather. So he adjusted it. He likes how it's coming out now, so he's continuing in the spray. Another thing that I noticed when you're doing a job like this, light is your friend. So they've fit this boat in here in a way that the light that's coming from outside shines on this side of the boat, and they can see where they're missing maybe some paint, or they need to go over another coat of paint. And that's what he's doing when he's going down the side. You could see him looking at the light, seeing what parts he's missing. It's like if you look this way, you could see all that side that's not painted yet, where if you look over here, you have a nice wet edge on this side that you could see much better. See that? All that wet edge? And that's what he's trying to hit. He's going over that wet edge about 70%. And he's hitting that wet edge, and he's coming right back over it and just doing it in maybe 2 or 3 foot increments, whatever his arm span is. So he's not liking how the paint's coming out. He thinks he needs a little bit more reducer. So he's going to stop, and he's going to go add a little bit more, and we'll see how it comes out. See, these are things that I didn't know. Like when I was painting, I don't have the experience to know when to add or take off reducer, or know when the paint is flowing a certain way. You know what I mean? So he's adding just a little bit more reducer. Franky, how do you know when to add more reducer? What is it? Just a feeling that you get, or a look to the paint?
The look of the paint.
Okay, it needs to look more wet.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not looking wet enough.
More clean. More clean, like more
Glossy?
shiny. Yeah.
More shiny, more,
Yeah, more
okay.
clean.
Okay, I got you. And Frankie, it's okay to go back, add reducer, and then paint right over what you painted. It's no problem. Yeah, he says that while the paint is fresh, there's no problem in doing that with this style of paint.
You can fix it. If you do some mistakes, no problem, because you can sand and buffing after.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that already looks like it's flowing a little bit better. He's getting a lot more coverage faster as he paints. See, it's like moving a lot faster now. And you could even see right on where that line is, you see how shiny that is up there? That's because the reducer is allowing the paint to flow a little bit better right over his shoulder. You see that shiny part? So he's gonna hit back. He's gonna hit the spots that he already painted. So what the noise that you're hearing is the compressor. If you're gonna do this job at home and you wanna do it right, you're gonna wanna have a compressor to do this. I have a 60-gallon compressor Husky that you can get at like Home Depot or Lowe's. And it works perfect for jobs like this. That's really all you need. I've heard of people using like pancake compressors and things like that, and that might work for smaller projects. But you could get a professional job at home. I mean, when I painted my Grady White, it came out pretty good with a one-stage paint. I use a Petit paint. Now you can see that primer that's on there, you see he's covering it. And you could see where that primer went all the way down to like the gel coat, right? So now he's trying to cover that with this one coat of paint that he's putting on. So he's going back over it now. Now you don't even see it. And he never stops moving. He never stops moving his arms. It's constantly moving all the time. Because the moment that you stop or take too long in an area, you're going to get drips, and then it's a disaster. Because you're going to have to wet sand, you're going to have to come in there with a razor, wet sand, buff, and all that stuff. When you're shooting paint, you almost want to have it, the prep is the most important. So when you're prepping for paint, if you do a half-ass job of prepping, you're going to get a half-ass paint job. The more time that you spend prepping the boat for paint, the better your job's going to come out. So you want to make sure that everything, the primer is nice and sanded down. It's clean, you have a clean surface. That way when you spray, spraying is maybe 10% of the job. So when you spray, you're done. You leave it like that, and maybe on a one-stage paint, you could sand a little bit, wet sand, buff, polish, and you're done. Or sometimes you could just leave it and it's done. So he's getting to the end of the boat. Let's take a look at how this looks over here. And he's got a little bit of orange peel there. So I'm assuming that they're going to have to wet sand after this and maybe buff. All right, let's go take a look and see where Franky's at. Now watch when he gets to this area here where the primer shows. Watch how he starts covering that up. So one of the things that I get, that a lot of people comment on these types of videos on painting is, why don't you just do Awlgrip? Awlgrip is the best, or Awlgrip this. Not everybody can afford Awlgrip. It's one of the more expensive paints. Yes, it's very nice. And I'll show you, as a matter of fact, we have Alfred's boat out there. We can show you what Awlgrip looks like. So this is a boat that's been painted by Awlgrip. This was painted maybe yesterday, right? It was painted yesterday. So if you look down here, look how nice and smooth that is. When they paint a boat using Awlgrip, they painted this at Miami Outboards, okay? So that's right behind this place, literally in the warehouse next door. So this was done by Miami Outboards. When you paint a boat with Awlgrip, there's no sanding, there's no buffing. You spray it, you're done. There's really no fixing Awlgrip. You have to be really good at painting Awlgrip. So it's very unforgiving in that sense. So unless you really know what you're doing, you know, you don't want to be messing with Awlgrip. Okay? But look at this job. Look how nice that came out. This is just dirt over here. But look how shiny that is. And that's gonna last you about, depending on how you take care of it, it could last you 5, 7, 8, 10 years, depending on how good you are with taking care of it. So that's an Awlgrip paint job. This is a urethane paint job. So let's go see how it's coming along. He looks like he's almost done. This is a filter that's an inline that kind of clears out any of the particulates in the air compressor. Franky, ¿cuántos coats le vas a dar? How many coats are we going to do? One?
In the bottom, with the perimeter mouth, around it.
Okay, got it. Because the boat already had a coat of paint on it and they just scuffed it up, he's going to just do one coat. But in the spots where you saw the primer sticking out, he's going to go back over those spots with another coat of paint. So he's going to let this flash off for a little bit, and then he's going to come back and hit it up. So he's coming over here, and they have already prepped the cowling of the boat. It's a Yamaha cowling. And he's going to give this a spray as well. Franky, is that alcohol or is that
Water.
water?
Yeah.
Just water? Just to get all the dust and stuff out, he uses simple water. I've heard of people using alcohol and acetone and things like that, right? But the acetone for paint is not good.
No.
Yeah.
This binding, yeah.
Yeah, with this style primer, if you use acetone, it's going to rip off the primer, and that's happened to me before when I didn't know. So there's also special. He was saying there's a special foam spray that he uses.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it with him today. That you spray on, and then it just evaporates, and it's ready for paint. So he's just using a regular cloth with water. Let that dry off, and these are the midsection of the motor, the covers. That'd be pretty cool, man. I mean, you could do these types of projects at your house. You got an outboard you want to customize with the same color as the boat, you could do it. It's no big deal. And it is a lot of work. You have to prep. It's all in the prep. So this is what you get. It's just flashing off now. So as you can tell, they got to come in and they got to wet sand, buff and polish. But he's going to come back over here. You can't even see the primer here, but he knows where they are. So he's going to come back and hit these spots where the primer was, maybe a little bit right there. And then I think there was another one over here, so right here somewhere. I don't know if you guys can see that. He's going to give that a second coat. That way when they come in and they wet sand, they have enough material to wet sand. And you don't need to the primer. I don't think I've heard of that paint, but then again, I'm not well versed in the different style paints, I use Pettit paint on my Grady White, and it came out really, really good for a first timer. I've sprayed a cowling before. I did it with a spray can, and it came out actually pretty good. But this is the best right here. And the other thing too is having a place like this where you can actually work not in the sun is huge too. But you work with what you got. So I asked Franky about urethane paints, if it's normal for them to have orange peel when you spray them. And orange peel looks exactly is exactly what it sounds like. If you look at the peel of an orange, it has these little ridges, right? See if I could show you. Come here. So if you look really close, even though it's shiny, it has that orange peel, right? It doesn't look like glass. It doesn't look like it's nice and smooth. Okay, that's called orange peel. Paints like Awlgrip, when you shoot them correctly, they come out like this with zero orange peel. Come out very, very smooth. They self-level very, very good, right? So normally these urethane paints, you can leave that orange peel and then you come over with a clear coat and then the orange peel disappears and it looks nice and shiny. But they're not going to put a clear on this. I don't think the customer is asking for a clear over it. I think what he's going to do is just put enough paint over the surface to be able to wet sand, buff and polish. So that's what they're doing. What you see on this side is this side's already been painted. And you could see how shiny it is, right? Because they already came in and wet sanded this side and then buffed and polished. So this is what you get. Look how clean that looks. And it's been sitting in here in this dusty place. They haven't cleaned this side, so it's a little bit dirty. But this is ultimately what you get. And like I said, you know, oh, why not use Awlgrip? Why not use a more expensive paint? It's the customer that's paying, you know? If the customer is paying for, if their budget is $300, that's the budget that they have, you know? If their budget is for Awlgrip, they have a budget for Awlgrip. It's gonna be a lot more money. Now let's take a look. So as you can see, yeah, there's orange peel. It's not super, super bad. But if you were to put a clear right over this, it'd look really shiny and really, really nice. But because I don't think they're gonna put a clear on, they're gonna have to give it another coat and then go ahead and sand and buff and polish. You can really see it right here. See that? Right in the light. You see what he has there is a microfiber towel, because it doesn't leave any lint. Any lint on your paint, you know, it's gonna ruin it. So he's just wiping that down because it was still a little wet, and he's gonna paint these parts. But let's look at that. Look how nice that looks. These parts are hard to paint because you have to try to keep the same distance of the spray gun as the contour of that cowling. That's a good tip. If you notice, whenever he's painting, he'll stop for a second and he'll look where his hose is, because if he's dragging it and he touches that other part, he's done. You know, so you got to always be aware of where your hose at, your air hose. Now the gun that he's using is an HVLP gun, which stands for high volume, low pressure. There's all different types of guns. You can get a Harbor Freight gun that's $16. You can get a higher end gun. You don't need anything super, super professional to get professional results. Like I said, when I first painted my Grady White, I used this same gun, you know. This gun, I think, is maybe like $30, $40. Yeah, out of the cheapest ones, the cheaper guns, that's the best one. I actually have that gun. They sell it at FGCI. Yeah, so what he's saying is that, yes, you can use a cheaper gun like from Harbor Freight, but really those guns are like one-time use, because as you go using them over and over again, the fan pressure and the knobs, they loosen out and they don't work as well, and you don't get as consistent of a spray. So let's take a look at the look. This came out really nice, man. Look at how nice this came over here. Very little orange peel on there. That looks awesome. That's so cool when you match the color of your boat with your outboards. Gives it a cool look. Yeah, so this paint already flashed off, and it's been maybe what, 20 minutes, if that? 20 minutes, it's already flashed off. It's not dry, but it's already like, it won't come up on your fingers. So he came back and he gave a couple coats up here to the spots that he knew he needed, like down here where the primer was, and then back up here. Up where the rub rail goes, he hit that up. He was saying that the paint was acting a little weird versus on the cowling. And you know, paints have their things, especially when you're dealing with different style paints. That's why a lot of painters, they'll stick to one specific brand and they won't paint with anything else, because they get the consistency out of it. So let's go ask Frank what the next steps are and see what he has to do. The hole is done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next step? Wait till
Sanding.
tomorrow?
Yeah, 48 hours.
48 hours, okay, so 48 hours and then 1,000,
The
1,500?
painting is gonna cure.
Mhm.
So we're sanding with the 100, 1,000,
800, 1,000,
1,000,
1,500, 1,200?
1,500, and then buff.
And then, okay, buff and polish, and it should come out like the other side,
opposite,
just like the other side. Let's go take a look at how it's gonna come out real quick. So once you do the buffing, once you do the polishing, it'll come out just like this. See that? And it looks like glass. I'd like to thank Frank for giving us a time and showing us all the tricks and tips. Frank, what's your phone number so people can reach you if they want to call you for any work or anything like that?
954 850 6920.
6920. So Franky specializes in fiberglass paint and gel coat. If you guys want his information, I'm going to leave it in the description below. And big thanks to Frank, and we'll see you on the next one.